if you're coming here to travel, I mean, if you're from here,
Yeah.
you probably would go to these places anyway. You know,
Yeah, I would.
Chinatown is, especially that kind of place. It is dirty. It's freaking dirty. I'm sorry. You know, but yeah, you're gonna get your chassis, your all this kind of stuff. Maybe we'll do a little tour of that one day. What's the day where they have like I don't know, a lot of people there? You know, that's kind of like a thing you do here. You go to Chinatown. Chinatown's kind of a very staple. It's a staple place in Honolulu.
It's funny because it's like you see Chinatown. They have a lot of art there, like Mark's Garage. They have, you know,
Yeah.
that's where they used to have like First Fridays.
Yeah.
A lot of they have like hole in the wall, like not clubs, but bars with like DJing and music.
Yeah.
Good food though. Like they have good restaurants in Chinatown. Yeah. Like a lot of good restaurants in Chinatown.
Yeah, you should check out stuff if you're a visitor. You know, a lot of places that might not look pleasing. I know it's hard to find, so this is why you got to tune in to us. We'll try it out for you.
Yes.
We'll let you know. Yes. Welcome all. Ikomamai. So, yes, as we continue on, like we said, this is the manifesto. This is my manifesto. I'm going to just, you know, tell you my little statement of purpose. Statement of purpose. You know, so again, aim is to promote, you know, lifelong learning. Okay? I think it's good to learn. Why I don't advocate stagnating, you know? Life is too, I mean, it's rare. Life is valuable. Listen, we're in a universe that is decaying all the time. You know, everything, if you left to its own devices, does decay. And like we are in a system magically somehow that came together that organized itself into atoms that can move and reflect upon itself. It's crazy. It's kind of rare and it's really formidable. So, you know, that being said, that is something that you should celebrate and that should not be just left to the wayside. You know, I think you should, you know, you don't have to do it. Don't have to do what I tell you. But it's highly suggested. Try to, you know, maximize the existence that you have here, you know?
Yeah.
Even if it's just like to enjoy it, you know, bring yourself joy, but, you know, not at the cost of others too much. You know, it's how do we find that balance? That is a question. I'm not going to answer that question now. I don't know. I'm still in this journey. I'm still some dude, you know, just trudging along, you know? So, a lot of where I get my inspiration from, or just sort of my, you know, morals. I don't know if a lot of people would think, a lot of people don't know me, but I am an atheist, yes. And I do think that even as an atheist, I can be a moral person, you know, because I've had that question asked before, you know, is that why, what drives you? It's like, don't you, as some nihilist, you're just going to think like nothing matters. You know, I don't think nothing matters. I think a lot of things matter, actually, you know. In fact, you know, it doesn't mean that I am, you know, I just, you know, I don't subscribe to, you know, religion per se, but it doesn't mean that some religious beliefs I don't, you know, I don't agree with, you know.
Yeah.
It's just usually people will be good people if they want to be good people, you know, regardless of what religion, you know. I think people can get along like that. So I don't really focus too much on that. It's just my personal sort of way of thinking. I am atheist, but if you see, I am not that much different from a lot of people that are moral. If you know, have, you know, a good head on your shoulders, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Just
have a different way of going about it. And I think it's important to sort of always reflect upon just the fundamental things. Why, I always ask, why is it moral? It's always just a fun question to ask. Why do I think this is moral versus not?
Mm-hmm.
You know, why is there stuff versus not stuff? Why do I want to do this versus why do I want to live versus not live? You know, or things like that. Those are just, I mean, take those questions for granted, you know? So I always use like first principles thinking. I really try to go by that. It's kind of what Elon Musk kind of makes it a little bit famous in how he goes about his daily business. That's how he's so successful. Actually, is he uses first principles, and I'm just gonna pull that up actually here. It's not him that made this concept up, by the way. I know a lot of people might not like Elon Musk for some reasons because he's now like a public figure of some sort, but yeah, that guy, he's one of my heroes. He's a smart guy. He's changing the world, man. Making rockets fly, and land themselves again. Making electric cars cool, But besides that, I mean, his way of thinking, why it's so, the main thing that I like about him is how he thinks. And you can pull up the wiki. I'm just going to read it out. In philosophy, okay, so this is what first principle is. A first principle is, in philosophy and science, a first principle is a basic proposition or assumption that cannot be deduced from any other proposition or assumption. So it's just down, like, you can always narrow it down to some basic laws. And the basic laws, are the laws of physics. Those you can't really question because, like, you're subject to it.
Right.
Like, you can't, I don't believe in gravity. You don't have a choice. Gravity is there,
Yeah, we're not floating.
Yeah. Well, we are floating, but
Well,
yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah. Gravity is like it's like a bend in space-time, but one of the main first principles that really is kind of like the inspiration of my, I guess, morality, I don't know, is second law of thermodynamics. And this is very basic. If I just said it, it's kind of obvious, like, but it's one of the most crazy things. If you take everything for granted, yeah, of course it's obvious. If I say, you leave a cup of coffee just by itself, it's a hot cup of coffee. What's going to happen? It's going to get cooler. It's going to lose its heat spontaneously to the environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's more likely to do that. It wouldn't just have a cold cup of coffee and then have the heat just travel into it spontaneously unless you put in energy, So the universe, the second law says that there's the energy in the universe will always tend to disperse. Okay? What does it say? Entropy. Here, read it. I can't explain it so well. Read the...
Okay, so entropy is a scientific concept as well as a measurable physical property that is most commonly associated with a state of disorder, randomness, or uncertainty.
Yes. It's pretty much everything is decaying. Yeah, but that's what entropy is. And the second law states that this is the only thing we've observed is that everything in the universe tends to disorder. Okay, so that, if you leave, for instance, if I build a sandcastle, if I leave it on the beach, what do you think is going to happen? Is it going to just stay there? Is it going to make a more sandcastle just by itself? No, it's going to turn into a sand dune by itself unless you put in energy, Our solar system, our planet is in this perfect zone where we get energy from the sun, and just in that perfect zone, it allowed matter to organize itself to the point where it makes us. All of the stuff that makes us up has been there since the beginning of the universe, but it has not been organized into this thing that can somehow think upon itself. We are pretty much matter that can think about itself. Pretty crazy. It's rare, I mean, and by definition, I am part of that organism, that system. Life is pretty much the reverse of entropy. It's like a reaction to entropy. It's a response to that, but it's going in the opposite direction because it does have input from an energy source, but It's actually really rare. We haven't seen aliens yet. I know we can say, yeah, I saw UFOs. Really, there's no proof that there was aliens.
Mm-hmm.
So this is all the life that we know. So this is precious. And as a life form, of course, I am biased to be self-amending. That's what life is. It's self-amending. So to self-improve is kind of imperative as part of my biological mechanism. It's that is my MO. It's like by definition. So, to want to self-improve, and also if you have more consciousness and you're able to include others in your endeavor of amending itself, then you will stop doing things at the cost of others. Because here's the thing: when you the whole, sorry to say, but the universe is just gonna die. It's gonna wither away. Sadly to say, sorry to burst your bubble. You're gonna die. Everything's gonna die. Everything's gonna turn into this sand dune, and all the energy is gonna disperse to asymptotically to absolute zero, which is pretty sad, But we're here now. Do stuff. Just get up and do stuff. I think it's better to do stuff, and don't be a dick. Don't be an asshole. That's all.
Yeah.
Very simple. But obviously, then okay. You create energy. You're gonna waste energy. You're gonna create chaos somewhere else. I get it. You gotta break a few eggs to make an omelet, I suppose. But if so there's a process. How do we manage entropy now? As a life form, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to undo entropy and try to prolong this state of organizedness and frolic in the chaos at the same time. We're just dancing, order and chaos, And then, we're just trying to organize, but who are we to include? Our loved ones. Okay, we want to screw these people, but the thing is, not really, but, if you have more consciousness, then you'll include more, people in your circle, your community. That's why it's important to have your, a sense of community, and then, you can make things more efficient. You can use science to do good stuff, and think of things, of reasons to be a moral person. So that's where I get it from. I'm not trying to wax philosophical about stuff, just I don't like seeing things decay. I know it's going to decay anyway. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. It's kind of inevitable, but once we're here, just enjoy the ride. That's what we're doing, So it's a good enough reason for me to try to do good stuff. So we encourage you to do good stuff too. What's good? Don't create too much chaos for some stuff around you. Again,
For others
yes,
as well.
for others.
Yeah.
And technically what happens, sun energy comes in, and then we radiate the energy out. The earth radiates all that energy out, So pretty much the space is getting all the chaos. So, but space is just space, so screw them. They're not, there's no, it's all right. I mean, really, I have to, address that there's some wasted energy going somewhere.
Right.
Yeah. So, but who's going to get it? Try not to, yes, if we didn't know how to manage our resources, what happens is you start using energy here, and then you dump it over there, and it's going to hurt somebody else. It's going to create chaos over there. So, without knowledge, yes, we have done that in the past, and that's why we have history to learn, to learn, yes, oh yeah, we did some pretty wasteful stuff. Okay, we know a little bit better now. We do this. Not perfect. It's just ongoing. So it's important to have that mindset, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's important to learn all the time because
you will get better. And what better time now that you can just let a computer learn it for you?
Technology allows us to learn things differently from before, when we didn't have all of this technology. It's all you need to do is type in on Google and you can learn a whole lot of things.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
There's still things at this point where you will come from, that I really do value, where it has to come from inside you. That's why I do advocate a lot of some practical philosophies. Mainly, I follow a lot of Stoicism and the way of the warrior, Buddha. But actually, if you think about it, if you read some Buddha stuff and Stoicism, it's pretty much kind of almost the same kind of stuff. It's just the Asian version of Stoicism. Let's look it up. Actually, you know what? You look up Stoicism.
Okay.
Yeah, you can click on it. We're just gonna sit here and read
All right.
and compare notes. Budo.
Not.
The way of the warrior. And I am a warrior. Yes, Stoicism is pretty much we think of philosophers as people who just sit there and think the earth, stuff. They don't just sit there and think. Most philosophers are doers, So one of the most famous people in Stoicism is like Marcus Aurelius. That guy was like an emperor,
Emperor.
And what they advocate is to build mental fortitude and resilience to certain things and being able to accept hardships. I think he had this saying called amor fati. It's like I love of your situation. I know you should watch Ryan Holiday. Before we go, I'm gonna have a list of all these useful podcasts that I like to watch. Yeah, you get a lot of value from it. It's why not, right? Like, why if you're gonna put on some stuff on YouTube and scroll and all that kind of stuff, you might as well just have some stuff that at least changes your mindset to do something, instead of just like,
It's good to see things in different perspectives.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Definitely, because you don't want to be in your tunnel vision and just seeing, narrow.
But also, I think positive mindset also has to have the a property of like it has to have a sort of push to action to something. I mean.
So what do you mean by positive mindset? Like when
positive
can have this connotation of being.
I'm not saying good necessarily. Yeah. Well, say okay, it's gonna be good, but I don't like to say good. It has to.
What is something
positive meaning? It will mobilize change. It will actively mobilize change. And when I say negative, I don't necessarily mean like bad either. You know what I mean? Like sometimes there's some negative things that are good where you withhold action.
Mm-hmm.
Withholding action. It's like but I think being positive and good positive is what you want to do. A lot of the time, especially if you want to mobilize change, you do have to put in a little bit of elbow grease,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think being able to take criticism, being able to, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and know what you have to change. You have to get up and do the stuff. So we do advocate that a lot. We're trying to do some of that stuff ourselves. So you'll see, we'll get better at some things. I don't know what it is yet. But if you do have any comments, we do encourage you to, say stuff to us in the comment section. And like and subscribe, all that. Yeah, that's usually that's how I see positive mindset.
Because sometimes that word positive has that. I mean, it's funny. It has a negative connotation to it sometimes. So that I think that was good that you kind of defined what your positive meant.
Yes. Oh, yes. Good point. I don't know if you mean this, but I know a lot of people that positive vibes only and like that.
Yeah.
Listen. There is such thing as toxic positivity. I'm gonna put that as a coin term because it's like, there's a point you can't not acknowledge bad things.
Yeah. Well, some positive things come from things that some negative things that happen in life. I mean, unfortunately, if negative things are going to happen to people, but growth.
Yeah.
It becomes
growth
positive.
mindset.
Yeah.
That's important. Like people, there's a mindset that people like. I don't know. If you failed once, that's your identity now. Or you know what I mean. Like you're not who you were before. you know, and some people adopt that mentality. I think that is not conducive to anything productive, really. To tell yourself that this is who you are, you know what I mean? Especially if it's not going to serve you in self-improvement is exactly that. It's not useful. So positive would be a mindset. Have a mindset that will be inviting to growth and change, because you can change, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't identify as the things that you did yesterday or today even, you know what I mean? Like, you have to, yeah. Well, we're still here, so you have the opportunity. Every day is an opportunity, no matter how old you are, you know? We're getting old, but if you say, oh, I'm too old, like a lot of people say, oh, I'm too old to do this, you already dug yourself a hole. You said you are too old, so you identified as a thing. That's kind of almost an excuse to not try to do anything.
Right.
You know? Or I've had some people say to me, oh, you play piano really well. You're so talented. I couldn't do that because I'm not talented. So what? I'm talented? Is that why I just happened? You know? It doesn't do anyone any favors. First of all, it doesn't do them a favor to say that. And it doesn't, it kind of hurts my feelings. Like, hey, man, I worked hard.
Yeah, you worked hard for it.
Bro.
Well, yeah, having that growth mindset is like, if it doesn't challenge you, then you're not doing it correctly. And so with learning piano and learning something new, we're gonna fail.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not saying you can do whatever you want. Yeah. Anyone can do whatever they want. You know?
Right.
Like I said before, the world is gonna decay anyway. It'll die. So will you. Sorry to break it to you. This is an adult show. It's a kids show for adults. You should know that by now. Okay? That should maybe then immobilize you to do something. You can do something. Come on. Maybe. This is just a suggestion. You know? But sometimes you don't have to do stuff. You can have other things do it for you. That's the craziest part. We live in such a crazy world now. What do I mean? AI. I love technology. I love technology. And honestly, as I was saying before, I was really cut off by technology.
By technology.
Or the deficiency of it. Yeah, technology is what defines us as a species, if you were to look at it from an outside perspective. They came in, like I said, the aliens come in, they see, the cats and all these things, they got the 4 legs, blah, blah, blah. Our thing is not that we walk on 2 legs. Yeah, it's because of that. But the big thing is that we have artifacts of what we call technology. And that just means the study of craft, actually. Technology doesn't have to be the artifact itself. It's just a way of projecting out to the world. It could be a framework, a mental framework. A language. Language is technology, The word is technology, So that does kind of bring us to your trip that you went was really relevant to this day and age, which is, AI in education. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I went on a trip to Philadelphia. And it was for an ISTE conference, so that's, I believe, the International Society of Technology for Education.
Mm-hmm.
And a big hot topic was AI. But let me just talk about a little bit about the conference a little. It's it was a good networking event. You meet educators and directors, vendors from all over the United States and in other countries as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just have breakout sessions about the latest technology in education, because a big thing is bringing technology into the classroom. Mm-hmm. And bringing it and using it responsibly, and using it where it's just not just a tool to use. It is more of part of the curriculum, Instead of just using the computer to type with, you have these apps that you can create books and you can create videos and it just brings learning to a higher level.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the biggest topics there, the hot topic, was AI.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of a lot of teachers, myself included, we're afraid at first because it's such a, AI can write an essay for someone, and so we needed to know how can us as teachers deal with that, because we check for plagiarism, so now we have this added thing of AI created essays, AI created art even.
Yeah.
But going to this conference really changed my perspective about AI, because it's not going to go away.
Mhm.
It really isn't going to go away. So GM was there with ISTE, and they partnered up to bring AI into classrooms and to teach teachers how to leverage it and how to use it and how to teach kids how to use it responsibly.
Mhm.
And they said that by us not bringing it into the classroom would be a disservice to them, because AI is the future. And GM was talking about how bringing AI into the classroom is prepping students for future jobs in AI engineering.
Mhm.
And that's really important, because if we don't, teach them how to use it, then we wouldn't be preparing them for, future jobs that they might be able to get.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not just job. I mean, technology does empower us. Using it responsibly has always been the issue. I think AI. Anyone who does relinquish the use of technology, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage already by default. So. I mean, that being said, just that's AI safety is a huge thing, though. A lot of people aren't thinking of that. That's Elon Musk's sort of rhetoric around AI. But that is important. It's an exciting future.
Yeah.
I'm not scared. I'm just going along for the ride.
Yeah.
I
mean, the one thing that ISTE, the one point that ISTE made that I was like, well, yeah, that's true, is that AI does not replace the human, and that's the. You might differ, but in the classroom, with teachers being scared of using it, they're thinking like, oh, is it going to replace the human, the student writing their essays? And they had to tell us that AI is not going to replace the human, meaning like if you're asking them to write something for you on like Chat GPT, you still need to go in there and put your voice into it. So it doesn't replace your voice. I guess maybe I should kind of.
Here's the thing. You have to be ready for. I mean, I think unequivocally, it will get better than humans. We have to be ready for that, and it's not. It's important to ask what it is fundamentally to be human to begin with. Like I said, we are the technology builders. AI is our child. The thing that we. I'm not so. I don't know, like plagiarism. Here's the thing. Now. You're just upping the bar now with AI. Now that you have this tool, you don't have an excuse to make like a thing. You could start off as that. That's fine. There's other dangers than just doing homework.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's.
Yeah.
If it starts making decisions for you that have irreversible consequences, that's where we have to be literate and to empower yourself. You have to know how to use it.
Yeah.
And we might have to become it. You have to merge with it. It's like you can't beat them, join them. That's why if that Neuralink thing comes out, like version 5, I'm getting it. I'm going to be beaming myself to outer space. But let's check out some photos of your, we got a little slideshow going on. We're going to maybe some commentary here, So let's take a look at your little trip.